Hey guys, and in this Drupal tutorial, in the series on creating a social network in Drupal, we're going to talk about and give you a simple introduction to the user relationships module. Now, as you might expect, this is so that you can create relationships between users and display them and do all that stuff, kind of like the friends architecture in Facebook or MySpace or any other popular social network. Now, I just want to say, if you're watching this video and you've not seen the last video on Drupal's profile system and kind of customizing Drupal's profile system, do make sure you watch that, because we're gonna be using and leveraging some of the stuff from that video in this one. So go ahead and make sure you watch that. Now, I also want to say that we're not going to go over everything the user relationships module does, because it does a lot of stuff, and today we're going to just be giving us a simple introduction, because it's quite a complex module, and even just as simple as things in it are quite difficult. So all we're going to be focusing on today is we're going to have users on the site that have got their own unique data, and we're going to give them the option to go on another user's profile and to say, I want to be friends with that user, and then that user is going to have the capability to accept or decline that request, and then if they accept each user will show on the other user's profile. So that's what we're going to focus on today. The user relationships module, which is what we're going to be using, can do a whole bunch of other stuff, which we will approach in other videos. Important stuff for social networking, like creating a messaging system, but that's not the focus of this particular video. So with all that said, let's dive in and create a basic friendship system. So if you look on my screen here, we're going to be using the user relationships module at drupal.org/project/user_relationships. We're also going to be using views to display the user relationships, which is itself at drupal.org/project/views, and that's dependent on ctools. So we're going to be using user relationships, but some helper modules as well. Okay, so once you've done that module, here is my Drupal site. We're just starting off nice and simple. I'll give you a I'll quickly show you what a profile looks like. So you've got the name of a person, their biography, and a picture. Beneath this, we're gonna put a list of who the users friends are. So today we're gonna set up that architecture. We should just note that in the last video we set up this user profile.tpl.php, so we can have absolute control over what the user profile looks like. And just so you know, since the last video, I've made it so I'll put the user picture in a div. So so that's gonna be important for later. So that's what a user profile looks like. Let's look over into the module list and the modules we're going to be using, so you can indeed see that it's just the user relations module. I've got quite a lot of other modules enabled, but these are just the ones that are of concern here. Now you can see under the user relationships category, there are quite a lot of modules to enable all that extra functionality. There's lots of APIs that come with this, but we're just going to be using it simply today. Notice I'm using the developer version of all these modules because the production version for Drupal 7 isn't out yet, and the development version has all the latest and greatest. It seems quite a stable UI. I've noticed a few problems, but overall it seems quite stable. So that's what we're going to be using. The parts we're going to use today are user relationships views to allow us to access relationship data in views. We're going to be using the user relationships UI to allow us to control user relationships, and of course we're going to enable the core user relationships API. So we're only using 3 out of however many of those modules, and we will expand that in the future, but for now that's all we need. So we're just gonna save that. What we now need to do is, under the configuration of our site and relationships, we now need to set up what type of relationships can be created. So on Facebook, for example, you can have relationships with people that are just your friends. You can set some people as co-workers and some people as your family. We're gonna just have a core friends relationship tab today. But if you wanted to get more granular and allow people to set up different relationship types, that's what you could do here. So we're just gonna hit add relationship type, and obviously we're gonna type in friend. We're gonna say it requires approval. So when one person adds another person as a friend, it doesn't just get approved automatically. They have to approve it. So we're gonna leave that unchecked. You could set an expiry date on the request, but we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna select this as a one-way relationship because we don't want people to be able to say he's my friend. We want to be able to say we're friends. So a mutual relationship. Branding. This is quite important, and I missed out on it the first time I did it. This is going to show on a lot of areas on the site, particularly the administration area. So to make it look right, you have to put the thing properly. I'm just going to move a bit closer so I can get to the keyboard. So you can see what these are, but first we're going to enter in the non-capitalized version. So we're just going to want it to say friends. And the so for our particular instance, that's what we're going to use. Now we're not going to mess with the one-way settings as we've decided. We're not going to use that, and we're gonna create a separate tab and path for actually no, as we're only using one relationship, we're not going to select that. So we're just going to enter the branding information and then hit add relationship type. So there's a lot of options in this module, so it's wonderfully flexible, but sometimes it can get confusing. Now that we've done that, we need to you can see we've just got this relationship tab at the top here, but there's no ability to add other people's relationships. So what we need to do, and this tripped me up the first time I did this, is we need to specifically set that users can control relationships, because otherwise it won't give us the capabilities to set relationships. So we're going to do that under administration and people. I couldn't find the permissions tab up for a while, but I was looking in the wrong place. It's just under the tab permissions, and in our case we've only got 2 roles, so we can say it's under this user relationships section here. So we're gonna the only thing obviously we're not going to allow anonymous users to do any of this stuff, but we're going to allow authenticated users to have relationships with other people, and you might want to set up different roles, but for this we're just going to use the standard authenticated user. We're going to give them the capability to maintain relationships, so that's add, edit or delete them or do anything like that. We're going to give them the capability to request other people to be friends with other people, and this is when we're going to start to see the UI for that, and we're also going to give them the capability to delete friendships. We're obviously we're not going to give them the capability to view all user friendships, but we are going to give them the capability to use their friendships. I'm not sure if that actually matters, because later on we're going to be outputting it with views. We're not going to be using the default stuff, but you best just check view and relationships just to be sure. We're then going to save those permissions, and with that done, if I go into someone else's profile, so obviously you'd have them in a list or in some kind of search infrastructure, but I'm just going to go to a user profile that I know exists, and I'll get there through the admin UI, because so we have three user accounts set up on this site. So I'm just going to go to Mike, for example, and over to the relationships tab, and okay, so we're back, and after a lot of troubleshooting, we've now got the link to add Mike as a friend when we're on Mike's profile. So we've set up the core of user relationships. Now, I want to say that the reason why that relationships link wasn't showing up, it should have shown up after we gave the permissions, but the reason why it wasn't was because I've I've custom themed profile now. When you're theming user profiles, whatever fields you outputted here are essentially overrides, but you should put print render user profile at the end of the profile so that outputs any fields you've forgotten to output, because once the permissions have been set, this link should have been showing up, but it wasn't, because it wasn't outputted on the theme file. So just be careful with that. But now if we hit become Mike's friend, we can send a relationship with request. Now if we go into the relationships area, which is where you see where we can see that Mike has indeed received a request. Now, normally he'd have to go and approve this request, but if, as I'm the administrator and I control everything on the site, I can approve it right from my account. So I'm just going to hit approve, but that simulates Mike approving it himself. So he's just going to say from his account, approve relationship. But if we go back to view, it doesn't say on his account that he's a friend of mine. And if we look at my public profile, it doesn't say that I'm a friend of his. So obviously that's a pretty key element of user profiles, other people being able to see who your friends are. So this is where views is going to come in, and we're going to create a view, or I'll edit a view that's going to show our relationships with other people. So we're with views enabled, we're going to go into structure, views, and user relationships gives us two views by default: user relationships browser and user relationships content. We're going to use user relationships browser today, but we'll use content in the future. So if we look at the view that it gave us, we can see that it's quite complicated. We've got one page display and two block displays. The page display is when a user goes to a logged in user and they go to /user/relationships. That's what we'll show there. That's the page display, and this is equivalent to if you're on Facebook and you're on your profile and you click on your friends. That's what you'll see there. That's the page display, and a lot of the customization we're going to look at for the block display will also apply to the page display, and I'll show you that quickly then. But we're going to focus most on the block display because we're not having different types of relationships on the site. We're just having friends. We're not allowing people to select who are their friends and who are their family like you can on Facebook. We're gonna use the block by user view. We're not gonna use the block by type. So actually we're just gonna delete that display now. that's gone. So we're now just going to focus on block by user, because there's a few customizations that
It's 18 hours.
we need to make sure before it looks good. Well, first it's a HTML list, and I want to make that unformatted because I want to have control over all the styling of how the data prints out, and I'm sure you do too. This will also give you cleaner markup this way. And then I'm going to accept those default settings. Let's look quickly at the fields that it gave us. The one we need to be particularly concerned with is the name field. Now, that's the only field we're going to actually keep out of these. It's actually going to display, because if you look at, for example, the plural name field, that is excluded from display. So that means we can use it in the view to manipulate data, but we're not actually going to see it. One of the ones we are going to see is the user relationship type field, and that actually is one we're going to get rid of, because what this essentially does is it shows the friend's name, and then underneath it in a bullet point for us it will say friend. So we don't want to show that, so we're just going to get rid. Something important to notice is that we have several views relationships set up, and a contextual filter. What this means is that when we're importing data in the field UI, we can choose, okay, when we say that we want to display user picture, do we want to display our own user picture, or do we want to display the user picture of our friend? So let's do that now. So we have access to all the fields in this case that are in the profile, and the one we want is picture. And like I say, normally this would give us our user picture, but if we click apply, we can select what's called a relationship. So what relationship are we to this person? And views relationships is a very, very powerful concept, and it integrates with user relationships. But what we want to say is that the picture we want is the requestee, and we don't want to give a label to the picture. We'll link the picture to the user's profile, and we're going to select what type of image you want. Now we set this when we plan profiles, but you can have images rescale, so they look good in different situations. For this, we're gonna select the thumbnail. So the thumbnail is what we're gonna see. We should also note here that we have user relationship status equal to 1 as a filter. What that essentially means is we're only going to see relationships that are all okay and approved. So that's obviously a good thing that I did that for us there. We're gonna get rid of that. And we're actually gonna sort we're gonna sort the relationships by the date that they were created. So to find those, if we just filter down to the user relationships option, and we can say user relationship creation date, and we'll order by that rather than the name of the user relationships. We'll sort descending, so it's nearest first. Granularity doesn't really matter in this case, and we'll apply that. We'll get rid of the initial sort criteria that was in there originally, because I don't think that's entirely relevant. Okay, so we've got our looking there, looking quite good. And you can look at these default settings. The one thing I did specifically want to change, and I think it's really odd and quite bad that it doesn't give it to you by default. The one thing I specifically did want to change was I wanted to add some no results behavior. So if a user has no friends, what happens? Because otherwise it would just save friends and be a big empty space. So we're going to add some text. So we're going to click the text area option, and we're going to say we're gonna tell them that they're Billy No Mates. So once we put that in, we're just gonna hit apply and update displays. So our view's finished. There's a couple of things you might want to change. For example, the how it pages results, but pretty much we're just gonna save that now. If we go back to our user page here for a second, we can see that in spite of that, our relationship with Chris, I think it was. Let's just check. Yeah, we've got a relationship with Mike, but it's not showing up, and that was the whole point of that view we just set up. So, what's the deal with that? Well, we've custom themed it, and we haven't told it we want to display anywhere. What we could do is just place the block on the content area, and then just say only show up in these areas. But we wanna have it custom. So what we're gonna do is hop back into our theme file, our user-profile.tpl.php, and then before we do the generic printout, we're gonna embed the view specifically into this page. So we're gonna say PHP, and then the function is called views embed view, and then what we're going to pass to it, well, it takes two parameters that are necessary. If we go back into our area here, one is the name of the view, so we can get that as user relationship browser. and that goes in the first parameter. And the other one is which of these displays do you want me to show? Do you want me to show the page display, the block, an attachment, or what? And so remember, we wanted the blocks by user display. That's the one we've been customizing. So how are we going to do that? Well, what this function wants to know is where it says machine names. You might want to choose a better machine name than block 2, but that's what this is by default. So we're just going to say block underscore 2. You can pass in custom parameters, but we're not gonna do that in this case. So we're just gonna end up PHP, and before this, I'm gonna put a title of. Obviously, I have the ability to custom theme this, so I'm just gonna put a title of. Friends. I'm actually going to put this after the rest of the user profile stuff, so it doesn't get confused. And putting hard code in a title in there isn't going to be a problem, because the title is not going to be there if the view doesn't show it, because we added in some no results behavior, so there'll always be something there. So if we close that and go back to our site, we see the title that we added, but there is indeed nothing there. So let's go. Well, let's first check our. Oh, we need to print the function. It doesn't output on its own, so you have to use the print keyword. You need to print the results of the function, because it doesn't echo on its own. Save that and refresh, and we do indeed have the picture of Mike. If you remember, this was Mike's picture. Let's go back into structure and figure out why his name's not showing up, because that's one of the things we wanted in there. So let's go into our we've got exclude from display tick, but we do actually want to display that, so I'm just going to uncheck that. That was a little. And I'm just going to save on that. And you can see it says his name and the picture there. You might want to do a little nicer thing in there, but we have indeed got a friends list. Now, let's, just to check it has worked, let's go over to Mike's profile and make sure it has my information in the friends list, because obviously we don't want it to show the same data for, and it does indeed have my information there. This is just there because I was doing some block stuff earlier, and it's just there to tell me that I have a friendship with Mike. Let's do a few more things. Let's let's just make Mike friends with somebody else as well, so you can see there's not any freaky problems with being one person. So I'm not gonna log in as the other user because it's just too much hassle. But if we go into people and simulate the other user or Mike asking the user for a friend request. So there we see the no results page. You have no friends at the moment. But then we can say, for on Chris's profile, we can say become Chris's friend. And because I'm logged in as me and not Mike, this new friend request should show on only my profile but not Mike's. So then we just need to it says you've sent a new friend request to the user, so I wonder if I can do it from there because I'm the administrator. So I've just simulated Chris approving my request, and so if we go back to Chris's profile, he's friends with me, but he's not friends with Mike. And if I go back to mine, I'm friends with both of them, just like I wanted. But if we go on to Mike's, he's not friends with Chris. So we've created a user relationship system. I know that was very long-winded, probably the most long-winded video I've ever done. It might not be that long because I'm gonna edit it down a lot, but very complicated module. But I hope that was an introduction today, not too fumbled. Anyway, guys, I'm starting to sweat. I'm trying to do this video for that long. So, but before I embarrass myself any further, I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and you can visit my website address, tom-rogers.com, down below. Look out for more Drupal videos, more psychology videos, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm going for a rest.